On an aircraft carrier, a sailor kneels next to the plane as it prepares to take off. On the flight deck of a Navy aircraft carrier, you'll see that crew members are clothed differently and use different hand gestures and body language. Kneeling close to an airplane that is ready to take off is one of those gestures. It's quite interesting why they do these, and in this video, we will learn why they do it in the first place. Hello and welcome to this episode of High Technology. If you are amazed with aircraft carriers and other technology related content, then this channel is made just for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss an awesome video like this. Now, onto the show. Not only are aircraft carriers spectacular in terms of their size, but they also function very effectively like well-oiled machines. The flight deck of an aircraft carrier is often regarded as one of the most dangerous places to work in the world. The noise environment aboard ship is notoriously hostile to sailors. In addition, a little over 4 acres of reinforced steel armor plate has the capacity to shelter up to 60 aircraft and 200 crew members. When viewed by someone who is not familiar with the procedure, the activity on the flight deck in which workers move in a variety of directions may appear chaotic. The flight deck of a United States Navy carrier is often regarded as one of the most impressive examples of man-made architecture anywhere in the world. In the same way that each section of an orchestra is responsible for performing a certain movement, so too is each sector of the larger symphony of carrier activities. Because of the noise that is produced by the aircraft carrier, the only way for sailors to communicate with one another and complete the jobs that have been given to them is through the use of a variety of hand gestures and signaling systems. To communicate with one another, these sailors use a range of hand gestures and signals. Kneeling is one of the various hand motions and indicators that sailors on aircraft carriers use to conduct their operations. It's not uncommon to see sailors getting ready to take off from the ground when they're kneeling close to an aircraft. If the person crouching next to the plane is wearing a yellow shirt, that person is the shooter signaling the cat crew to fire. A member of the cat crew who is waiting on the cat for the next aircraft to arrive so they can be fired is said to be wearing a green shirt. If he is wearing different colored attires, the squadron's quality assurance staff is probably him, and he is currently watching for the following aircraft to taxi up to the cat for the following photo. He must do a quick inspection to look for any visible problems, like fuel or hydraulic leaks, before an aircraft may be launched from the catapult. A group of 10 people will typically be seated in the box on the deck and between the cats during a launch. Hand signals are another common gesture used by sailors in addition to kneeling, and these people include the members of the ordnance department, the cat crew, and the last checkers for quality assurance. The hand gestures used for all launches and recoveries are essentially the same. There is a potential that the pilot's spontaneously developed maneuver might be mistaken for something else, which could have devastating results. After startup, the pilot will give the plane's captain the thumbs up signal to signify that he is ready to take off, and then everyone will wait until the person in the yellow shirt shows up to take control of the aircraft. Unless a yellow shirt is in charge of it, an aircraft on the flight deck will stay still. The yellow shirt will confirm the thumbs up to go flying and then pass the signal to break down the aircraft. These directors will always be present to control the movements of the aircraft, whether it is being towed or taxiing. All signals to be communicated to the pilots will be done above the waist, while those to be communicated to the other members of the flight deck will be done below the waist. The arms are moving in sweeping motions, which may indicate that the chocks and chains are going to be removed from the airplane. In addition, the brakes are the only thing that can keep them in their current position. After the airplane has been taken apart into its component parts, taxi signals are used to guide the plane around the flight deck. In the realm of aviation, the following hand gestures are typical: waving one's arms to signal taxiing and bending one arm to indicate turning. All rotations will be made while the engine is idle, because moving while an aircraft is being taxied could result in the aircraft sweeping tremendous amounts of thrust and tossing people overboard. Persons wearing yellow shirts are not allowed to move while the aircraft is being taxied. When it comes closer to the person in the yellow shirt who is leading it, the aircraft will be handed over to the next director who is waiting for it. This will happen when it gets closer to the person in the yellow shirt. The handler who is stationed at flight deck control is the one one who directs the aircraft to one of their 4 catapults. The handler indicates the path that should be taken to reach the subsequent director. The direction in which the aircraft will go as well as the order in which it will land are both established by the handler, who also maintains control over both parts of the operation. Even backup destinations are available for planes that crash and are unable to fly. When the aircraft reaches the catapult, it will be signaled to spread its wings with a sweeping motion of the arms from the chest and the fully extended position. When it's time to lower the launch bar, the director will then extend one arm forward in a manner that makes it appear as though he's insulting the pilot. Now that the launch bar and the catapult shuttle are properly aligned, the aircraft will taxi gently and precisely. Before being authorized to take a position on the CAT, an aircraft that has been outfitted with weapons must be armed, or the common known as a red shirt. The red shirt will give the hands-up signal during this potentially life-threatening procedure to ensure that both pilots' arms are always visible. Many pilots prefer to hold their guns in the cocked position, which is shown in a lot of cruise footage, although it's not required. Once both arms are extended forward and one fist is made in the palm of the hand, the order will indicate arm up. The aircraft can taxi into the catapult and start applying strain after it had been armed. The holdback fitting on the rear of the nose gear during taxiing imposes a large amount of resistance that must be overcome. Next is the take tension signal. Before making 2 hand signals at once, the individual in the yellow apparel will first look in both directions. A raised hand with the palm pointing outward is used as a signal to indicate that brakes had been released. After getting into position, the jet squats down until it is at the muzzle of a loaded pistol while reaching out the other hand in front of the body to represent taking stress. The pilot will then wipe off the controls, set the military power, and make one last check of the instruments before handing control to the shooter, who will phonetically wave his hands in the air in anticipation of the run-up signal. The shooter will do this in order to signal that he is ready for the run-up signal. After the launch bar will rise. When the pilot is satisfied, he will salute the shooter and then put his hand on either the stick or the towel rack on the canopy bow, depending on his preferred operating style. After that, the shooter will pass the saluting point back and forth between each item on his final checklist. As a signal that a boat is about to start, tap the deck and point forward. The signals dramatically lessen in complexity after landing. When the pilot gets close to the landing area, he will observe someone tugging on something while standing on his right. He flicked one of his thumbs in the direction of the throttle reduction. The hookup signal is given by placing one thumb into the open palm of the other hand after the track and the brief pause. The pilot will then communicate to the flight deck chief whether the jet is up for maintenance or down for maintenance by giving him or her a thumbs up or down. After that, the aircraft will perform a series of taxiing maneuvers until the person in the yellow shirt gives the signal to install the chocks and chains in the same manner as they did previously. The pilot will then be handed the controls of the aircraft after that has been completed. And that's it for today's video. As always, thank you for watching this episode of High Technology. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts for today's video. Again, this is High Technology. See you tomorrow.